Now we have with us Abeer Kulsum from Gems Millennium School, Sharjah. She has cultivated a deep commitment to reading, writing, and baking. These hobbies have instilled in her values of dedication, persistence, and unwavering concentration. Abeer nurtures a profound aspiration to further her writing as a secondary profession, with a vision to inspire the generations yet to come. Her TED Talk is about the misconception one has about the ordinary and the simplest acts that are forgotten which form the building blocks to being exceptional.
Who is Bill Nelson? Who is E. Keith? Who is Sally Ride? Is there a picture formed in your consciousness? Or if not, let me rephrase my question. What is NASA? Is there a picture of the moon, astronauts, or aircrafts formed in your mind? What if I told you the names I had started off with were the minds behind this operation? Search them up. They look pretty regular at first sight. 2 legs, 2 hands, just like the rest of us. What does this teach us? Ordinary is the basis to form extraordinary. What is ordinary? We use this word on a regular basis. Is it perhaps a norm or a standard of a certain object? Or is it a step on the way of being extraordinary? Personally, I don't believe in being exceptional. I believe in common men having exceptional qualities. The simplest of the smallest acts can lead to refinements one never thought of, only because of smart, ordinary individuals. Ordinary is an overly criticized, underrated word. I'm ordinary, you are ordinary, everyone in this audience is ordinary. But do you know when we aren't ordinary? When we work together, correlate our capabilities, and form something never heard of before. Think of 5 successful people. Why are they where they are? How have they achieved what they have? It's because of the synergy that they hold within themselves. Or, in simple words, teamwork. It is the outcome of having conviction in oneself and one's troop, and profoundly achieving through accepting who you truly are. Power of ordinary. I look at it from 2 different perspectives, one of which can be the simplest and the earnest acts from the people around you. It can be the smile of a stranger on your morning commute, the laughter of a child at play, the reassuring words of a friend during tough times, or even the simple routines that give structure to our lives. These form the basis of our existence and the building blocks to a meaningful and a successful life. Power of ordinary could be the construction of the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. Do you have any idea on how many ordinary workers it took to construct this extraordinary vision? 12,000 workers were just engrossed in the construction of it. 70 years back, when our grandparents were pleasantly in their early stages of their lives, building an 828-meter building was beyond one's imagination. But look at where we are today, visiting it ever so casually, not realizing the huge impact it has played in our lives. The power of ordinary. Now, why is this possible? The Burj Khalifa was constructed with so many people. It is because of the harmony that we have incorporated. A few weeks back, I attended this play, entirely conducted by 7-year-olds. Quite astonishing when you think of it. My pre-expectations were quite shallow, because after all, they were just 7-year-olds with barely any experience of a play. So I sat my seat, buckled it all up, had my popcorn in hand, and that's when the play began. It ran very smoothly, but then I noticed the backdrop of the play. It was a forest painting, quite modestly done. However, I didn't pay much attention to it, to a point where I barely realized it existed. So towards the end of the play, there was the final choir song. All of the choir students came together for the final bow, and one of the girls forgot to bow. And the friend next to her very casually took her hand, nudged her a little bit, and gave her eyes actions. And that's when very pleasantly she bowed in unison with the rest of the crowd. And most of the audience, believe me, failed to see this minor inconvenience. Later on the day, I was looking at the pictures, and I noticed 2 things. One of which was that the so-called backdrop that I had noticed of the forest painting was actually a compilation of all of their fingerprints. Look at your fingerprint. Look at the unique pattern that has identified you from time of birth. Imagine dipping it in paint and stamping it on a 120 square meter wall. How long would it take you? 24 hours or more? But when asked the teacher, it took them 2 hours and less. Why is this? For an ordinary person, this is an impossible task. But for Ordinary Together, it's a piece of cake. The second realization that I came across was the final choir photo of all of the choir students in their perfect 90-degree bow. A stranger looking at that picture would have never come to a conclusion that perhaps one of the girls had to be nudged in their most subtle manner to say thank you. That brings me to my last point. Imperfections are sealed with ordinary. When we have a group of 10 people, ordinary, I must say, working for the same cause as us, we forget to be selfish and rely on them as much as we rely on ourselves. Lastly, to end with, I want all of you to ponder on something. What is one extraordinary initiative or act that you have taken this week? It might be as unrecognized as this little girl helping her friend, but it should be something you are proud of. Remember, acknowledgement of the diminutive leads to the formation of the miraculous. Thank you.